Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 161 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. So that title, is the world going insane? Everything I talk about in this episode has to do with the answer, but I'm actually going to give my answer at the end of the episode. You can tell me what you think by emailing me at heidi@heididawson.com. But for now though, how's your life going? Are you waking up every day excited for what's to come? Are you feeling better, getting better every single day? You can, you know. Our society would have you believe that you just get worse as you get older. You're just getting older, so life goes downhill. I don't buy into that. I think that does happen if you let it, but I'm not going to let it. Are you? If I've heard it once, I've heard it 100 times. Oh, that's just part of getting older. I'm just getting old. That's part of it. Maybe you've even said it yourself. But I refuse to buy into that because I've seen it work the opposite in my own life. I'm more fit and in better shape right now than I was at 25. My brain is clearer right now than it was 3 years ago. So just because society believes something, it doesn't make it true. Now, it is true for a lot of people because they've never broken out of the societal pattern of poor nutrition, lack of movement, that work and then die mentality. But I'm different. And I believe you are too, if you're still listening past that first part, that is. It's empowering to know that life doesn't have to get boring or slow or achy and foggy just because we're getting older. We don't have to buy into the idea that, well, I guess I'm just destined to be like everyone else, going on certain medications because I'm getting old. We had friends over for dinner last night and we were talking about her health. And when she was 41, the doctor told her she needed to take this cholesterol medication, which was causing other problems for her. But he also told her she didn't have to take the medicine if she would exercise. But at the time, she didn't want to do that. It just didn't seem like that big of a deal. Everyone else she knew was on something like that medication. So it's just the norm, right? But that medication caused her other problems. And once she decided to get on track to lose weight, she realized she didn't need the medication after all. Her body knew how to take care of itself. She just had to give it the chance and the nutrition to let it. Now, I also remember a couple years ago, I was upset over something that was happening in the world. Doesn't matter what, because it applies to anything. But I've been reading news articles about it, and you know what happens when the machine realizes you're interested in a certain topic. It just keeps sending you more and more articles until you're completely worked up about that topic. I had a friend that had come over for dinner, and she was talking about all the fun things she was doing, and her work and life was so good. And I was like, but what about this thing going on in the world? Can you believe that? And she looked at me like she had no idea what I was talking about. And she was just like, I've been so busy. I just haven't been focused on that at all. Right then, I had an epiphany. It was only affecting me because I was so focused on it. It wasn't affecting her at all because she was focused on things that were fun and interesting. And my mind was being drawn to the drama of the week, which is never ending. It's like a series on Netflix. They have to have a cliffhanger to make sure you watch next week. And there's always going to be something new. Some new thing to get us worked up about. Some new virus, some new terrorism threat. Some new way to make us hate each other. But it hit me then that I was just allowing someone else's agenda to dictate my thoughts because I wasn't being intentional about what I was consuming. So I was being drawn into what someone else wanted me to consume. The food companies want you addicted to food. Pharmaceutical companies want you addicted to medication. The news wants you addicted to drama. And the politicians kind of want you angry at this group or that group. And that's the same societal recipe that ends up with us all saying, well, that's just part of getting older. I'm just getting old, so I have to do this or do that. But what if that isn't true? What if we each decided that I'm 100% responsible for everything that happens to me? And what that means is every single thing I read, everything I watch, everything I eat, everything I drink, everything I consume is setting the tone for how I'm going to feel, the actions I'm going to take, and ultimately the results I create in my life. Because guess what? That's the truth. That's what's going on here. We're each on our own little universe of what we're focused on. What we're focused on is that lens through which everything else is filtered. Jarek Robbins had an Instagram story this last week where he had this question where you get to give your answer, kind of like a poll. I love those things. Instant gratification, right? Anyway, I read this question that he put out as, are you okay with mandated vaccines? And the option for answers was heck yeah or no way. Well, I believe each of us should make that own decision on our own. And so, of course, I said no way. And then it gave the percentage of who said yes or no, which sort of surprised me. But then I just moved on to the next story he had up. And that story said, isn't it interesting how when you're focused on something, you see it everywhere? Go back and read the question of the previous story. And my brain was kind of short-circuited. It was like, what? So I went back, and the question actually read, are you okay with mandated vacations? Oh my goodness, I felt so embarrassed that I'd fallen for that. But a lot of people did, because it's a big focus for us right now. You keep getting and you keep seeing what you're focused on. But you get to decide what you focus on. That's the good news. And I believe that to be the key to creating the life that we want. Or just going on autopilot and consuming what someone else wants. You just have to break away from the machine and think for yourself. I don't know what that means for you, but I know for me it means I have some work to do. I'm not perfect at this. There are things that I still focus on that I know it's not going anywhere good. But I am at least aware that I'm doing it now, which is the first step. So can you acknowledge right now that there are days where you do go on autopilot and the machine has you locked into consuming whatever drug they want you to consume this week? Maybe it's the food drug or the news drug or the latest virus drug. Maybe it's the drama in the office drug or the collective anger at a specific group drug. Whatever it is you're on, that you're consuming on your phone, on your computer, on the internet, wherever you are, the machine is just going to keep feeding more of it to you until you stop consuming it. Now, maybe you do want to be distracted because you're bored in life or you aren't where you thought you would be. Things didn't end up the way you thought they would at this point, and here you are in this life and this body that you're not loving. But guys, this is where it gets really good. We get to change that. We have the power to change our course in life whenever, right now. The machine, it doesn't really care what you focus on. It just wants you to stay on the internet longer because that gets them more ad money. If you start focusing on and searching for things that make you better, like meditation, healthy food, organization stuff, home stuff, whatever excites you, but also makes you better. What if you spent your free time focused only on things that make you better? The machine is going to send you more of that. You're going to attract things and people in your life that give you more of that. You'll start feeling better and getting better. And eventually, someone will say, what do you think about the drama of the week? And you're going to say, I don't know anything about that because I'm not focused on it. And now you're back in control of your life. How good does that sound? So that question, is the world going insane? Well, it depends on who you ask and what they're focused on. If you don't like where you are, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So if you think the answer is yes, the world's going insane, what are you focusing on? There are always going to be people that are thriving, and there are always going to be people that aren't. And a majority of that has to do with their mindset. Which are you going to be? My challenge to you this week is to be very deliberate about what you choose to focus on. It could be that you pick up a new book that empowers you in one way or another, something that gets you excited. And then maybe start searching for that topic and be very deliberate about it. And if you have a desire to go back to your old habit of consuming something that isn't going to make you better, at least be aware of that desire and pause for a minute. Delay it for just 1 minute. Maybe that desire will fade. Or maybe you'll still go look at it, but at least you're making the big step of awareness. And that is a big step towards making you better. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.